Welcome to the Oktaves Podcast. My name is Sunna. I'm your co-host and the co-founder of Oktaves. Today we have the musician Mario Infantes with us. I'm going to be interviewing him about his musical journey, his creative process, his struggles possibly, and just all the exciting things on the horizon for him and his music. I really hope you enjoy this episode today, and let's just dive right into it. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you. Like,
Happy.
really excited to have you on here and hear everything you have to say. For anybody listening, this is the Oktaves Podcast. I'm Sunna. I'm your co-host. And this is Mario Infantes. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes, Infantes.
Infantes.
It's pretty much as it's written.
Yeah, awesome. And you were having a music video shoot today.
Yeah.
Out in the rain, the wind.
If anyone plays video games, it's life in Iceland during the winter is like playing a video game on hard mode, on the hardest mode.
But isn't it in the video games? It's usually just like the nice parts of Iceland. Because you're not talking about the landscape.
No. Logistic wise.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of action in video games.
But this is not the case. It's just like you have a plan to do anything here, and you are so at the mercy of whatever the weather will be that day.
Yeah.
You know, in any other country, you can plan something because if it's just you can like look at the window, it's nice weather, you go out and do it. But when you have to plan it with a bunch of other people, you need to plan in advance. And sometimes you plan a lot and then the day sucks.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we were planning to do this video in a nice waterfall with a river, blah, blah, blah. But then we were like, but it's winter, it's going to be completely frozen. So we need to think about something else, right?
Yeah.
Then we were like, okay, let's do something about ice, you know, or everything focused on the ice, on having because we want to have this dancer, friend of mine, dancing on the ice. So that's the part of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, we've been like trying to plan this out for months now. And we finally decided a date today. And guess what? The weather completely changed.
Yeah.
Like just before, yesterday was completely frozen.
Yeah, it was a
perfectly fine, beautiful winter day. Today, red alert, winds, rain. There's more temperature though, it's hotter, but that means the lakes are completely frozen. Defrost,
Defrosted, yeah.
Melted.
Sorry. Yeah, melted, exactly.
They defrost.
We're not defrosting meat.
They are completely melt, and so no ice. And everything is extremely slippery.
Yeah. How did it go? Like, what did you end up? Did you just make a lot of spontaneous changes? Or?
Yeah. We just like, okay, I know some place like close to my to home, and I was like, I think it's a cool place. We can try. It was extremely difficult to get there because of slippery surfaces. Like everything was.
It's so slippery.
We were like holding each other, all of us, just like trying to not fall in the ice.
With gear and stuff. Like, with all the gear, I can imagine that it's like, you're not just whacking your body. It's like you have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, only one person fell.
Okay.
He was fine. So very good.
Okay, good.
And then we shot some really cool stuff at the end.
Awesome.
So it came out pretty cool. But
was it for one specific song of the album that is coming out?
It's for a specific song of the album. Okay. Yeah, for one song.
So tell us when, because you have an album coming out.
Yes.
So me and Mario know each other. So I know a little bit, of course, more than maybe those of you who are listening. But so tell us just about that your album that is coming out, you just sent it to mix, right?
Yes.
Recently.
Finally.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's been 2 years and a half of a lot of work on that album. Also because it's been a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah, you've been going out of your comfort zone a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think I should explain before. I've been always primarily a vocalist for death metal bands. Most of my musical career. I've done other things also, but mostly just vocals for death metal bands. and I was the one writing the vocals, lyrics, and melodies and stuff, but never I was writing the music itself. I had my band here in Iceland that was fairly successful, let's say.
And that was a metal band?
Yeah, it was a death metal band.
And what's the name of that band?
Cult of Lilith. And yeah, we was doing pretty well. We were signed by one of the biggest labels in metal, which is Metal Blade Records.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were kind of coming up in the middle of COVID, so that made everything more difficult in terms of touring and stuff. And the last drop of the glass was having to cancel a tour in America. Not because of us, but it was some fuck up from a lawyer in customs in America.
With like visas and stuff.
So that was kind of the last nail in the
coffin.
In the coffin.
When was this?
Because we were already a bit burned out of the whole thing, and we decided to take a break. That was 2022, 21, and so it was kind of devastating, honestly, because my whole creative outlet was poured into this band.
Yeah.
So when that happened and we decided to take a break, I was honestly just devastated. Yeah. Because that was like my only creative outlet, which was my fault, to put all my eggs in that basket, basically.
Yeah.
So then I was forced to, okay, I need to do everything now. If I want to keep doing music, I have to write everything and do everything myself. So I decided to start my solo project. And I did this album, which is called Antidote to a Turbulent Mind, that I released last year.
Mm-hmm. Instrumental, right?
It's an instrumental album, even if I am a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like my creative outlet at the moment. I could only write that kind of music, which is kind of dungeon synthy mixed with ambient and really soft new wave stuff.
Yeah.
And the other problem why this album was instrumental is because COVID hit me 3 times in the same year.
Oh, like you
and
actually got
lost
COVID
my voice
3 times.
for months, and I
Wow.
was literally thinking that my singing era was done.
Come to an end.
Yes. So I was like, okay,
Damn.
maybe I can't sing anymore, but I have to do music,
Wow.
in some capacity. Imagine that was really, literally my thinking was like, I'm done singing. I can't do it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
I don't know.
But after a few months, I started to be able to sing again, and after I finished this album.
Yeah, got it.
So I started to get really inspired again to write, and that's how I started writing this album called Bakur. That's coming next year. I don't know when this is going to be released, though. It's going to be released in 2025.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
around the summer. Sometime around the summer.
Oh, as I meant this episode, I was like, no, it's gonna be earlier.
Okay.
No, yeah. Okay, so the plan is summer 2025 for the album. Yeah, this will be
So now
out
I
by
can
then.
sing, I can use my voice, which is the instrument I feel the most comfortable.
Yeah.
And I started experimenting, learning a lot of instruments and a lot of different genres and stuff. I've always been interested in different cultures, different genres.
Mm-hmm. You kind of just landed in metal and then... when you're back.
Exactly. Because I at the beginning for this album, I wasn't thinking of doing metal in it. I was thinking I was more focused on woodwinds and handpans and stuff.
Yeah.
And then one day, it's like the whole reason why there's metal in the album, and there's a lot of metal actually.
Yeah.
I ended up adding. It makes sense for me. It's because I started fucking around with this plugin, the Get Good Drums, which is it's like a standard for metal drums, basically, a plugin. And I started fucking around with it. I'm like, oh, you know what? I can also write metal stuff, because I didn't write metal before. I only wrote vocals for metal, but never whole songs.
Yeah.
So I started with these drums. I started exploring it, and I was like, oh,
With
I'm
your
getting
other
very
instruments.
inspired by this. I'm getting very, very excited. And that led me to buy another plugin, which was the guitar Shreddage something. It's just like a metal guitar plugin. And I was like, okay.
Nice.
I can write this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started to blend it with the other influences I have and with the other instruments from Middle East, from India, from...
Yeah.
So that's how the album sounds like it sounds now.
Yeah.
It's this blend of all my influences. That's why I say this is what I consider my actual first album, because I feel it represents all that's my musical career.
Yeah.
And not only my musical career, but my persona.
Yeah,
you know?
You're pouring yourself into this album. I relate so much to that, because like being in a band, it's like such a different world than just like being like, okay, this is me.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just like...
Both for the worse and the better. Like,
totally, yeah.
Because I mean, when you're in a band, you don't have all the responsibility, so you can chill a bit more. Like, everyone has their own role, and you stick to that role. You do the best you can do with your role. But when you have to take care of every single aspect of your music, it is a lot of work. It is. It's so much work. Obviously, it depends on how much you want to make your life harder, I guess. You know, because some people, it depends on the nature of your music, how much of a perfectionist you are. Yeah. It's so many aspects.
I know. And it's like, depends also, like, what do you want to do with it, you know? And it's like, too many people kind of haven't really defined that for themselves, you know? Which is like, it's very normal to just like, I just want to create, I just want to get it out there, I want people to like it, and I want, you know, just like to play for people and people to listen to it, blah, 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 you know? And it's like, it can be really healthy to kind of just like allow yourself to take your time to kind of figure out what that is for you as well. Like, do you know what do you want? What you want with your music? Like, it's like, I want this to be my just career. I want to blow up. I want to play, like, tour in big arenas, or, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And look, there was an experience that I had earlier this year, at the beginning of the year, in January, that changed my life, changed my way of seeing music, changed everything for me. I went to Utrecht in Netherlands to see one of my favorite musicians, one of my favorite artists, which is Dafer Youssef. It's a jazz artist from Tunisia that blends Middle Eastern music, oud playing, singing with jazz. And he's always been one of my biggest influences and like favorite artists, blah, blah, blah. And I saw he was touring in Europe, and I was like, okay, I think I could grab a flight to Amsterdam and go to see him in Utrecht. That gig was not only incredible in terms of, you know, musically, obviously, but for me, I probably had my first religious experience there ever. Actual religious experience.
Like a spiritual experience.
Yes.
Or,
Yes. The only way I can explain it with words is when I saw that man playing, I think that guy was connecting with whatever God is. Call it whatever you want. You know, call this God whatever you want. Like Christians would say something, Muslims would say something, Buddhists would say it's something. For me, I don't really care which one is which. It's connected with something that's supernatural and bigger than all of us. And he was connecting with this entity, and he was making us also be closer to that divine entity. And since then, everything has changed for me. Because for me, music is not even a craft anymore. It's a devotion. And the same way you wouldn't ask a Christian monk if your devotion is good enough. Devotion is devotion. Yeah. You know, and you just do it. You do it and you show up. In this case, it's also a craft, obviously. So something you need to practice and get better at. But it's not about how good it is for me. Yeah. It's more than a necessity. It's just what gives me purpose. Yeah. I think, and I don't want to make music my whole personality. I also have many other interests. I love painting. I love hiking. I love traveling. I love video games, movies. But I think music is what gives me purpose. Maybe not my entire personality, but
it just fuels you and your
it's
body.
what makes me want to go out of bed.
Exactly. Keeps it going. Yeah. I think like most of us relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Like we get so easily overwhelmed, obviously, because this is a shit show. This is like, if we're trying to like actually make this into something more than just like what I do after work, you know, then it's like, it can drain us so much and burn us out that, you know, I think it's very normal to just give up regularly. And then we're like, yeah, okay, maybe I don't have to go so full on, like in this music thing, you know. And then we seem to just always like miss it so terribly. It's not even like, oh, I miss it because I like doing it. It's just like,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wouldn't say, I mean, I think it giving me purpose, it's already a goal in itself.
Yeah.
But if you ask me for a goal of what I'm trying to do with my music, at the end, I think I'm trying to make people see that everyone can do this with the, you know, amount of work that it requires, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, when people say, oh, you're so talented, or someone is so talented, I couldn't do that, you know. I always laugh like, there's no talent in this. It's work.
Yeah.
It's hours. And it's your energy and your time and your sacrifices.
Yeah.
And your money. You know, it's all of those things you do for devotion, you know, because you're not doing it for money. I mean, some people are, I guess. Definitely not us.
Yeah.
Definitely not us. You know, we do it. We need to ask for money when it comes to this because it's our, you know, we want to make it our livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
We are not making all of our decisions, you know.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of getting money. That's not in my plans, at least.
Yeah.
What is in my plans is making people see how beautiful music is. Not my music. You know, I think my music is nice. You know, I'm making the music I want to hear. But what I want people to see is how beautiful it is to create. Yeah. And how much good it can bring into your life. You know?
I think you are, like, your whole creative process and how you approach just like, okay, I'm just going to do this, like, is so inspiring. And
Thank
like, it is exactly like what you said, like, it makes you feel like, yo, like, why wouldn't I be able to do that then? You know, it's just like, you know, I think it's the playfulness of it.
Yes.
It's like so, I don't know, it's just healing and inspiring, and yeah, it's just like joy, playfulness.
It's also the lack of education, I think.
And I think that is what makes it so magical, honestly, because like the education makes us really rigid and like stuck in some ways, and we don't even question it often. And sometimes we know it, but we can't get out of it, you know. But you're just like, and Yara, you know, it's like so inspiring as well, being around her, obviously, because like she also is like self-taught and everything, and it's just like, whoa. I was like, and you don't have to know the name of the chords or, you know, notes even. You just like do what works for you.
No shit.
and you're in the moment, and those are the people who are actually present in the music the most, I think, like I've noticed. So it's not to say that like those of you who went to school like don't, like, you know, you're not doing music.
No,
like obviously
no.
Like that's not what we're talking about, but it's like it's so inspiring to mash these worlds and not like no way is the right way or the good way or the bad way, you know. It's just like
the way
just
I
play.
see it, like the way I see, for example, you go into my studio and there's a bunch of instruments from all over the world, basically. The way I see it, I'm not aiming at getting extremely prolific at any of them. I'm not aiming at being like shredding on any instrument. For me, I see instruments as tools in my workshop. So if I want to build a chair, I need nails, I need wood, I need hammer, and I don't need to be the best hammerer, if that even exists, in the world. I just need to be able to use it, you know, and to carry my
basic
vision.
skills to be able. That's what I don't remember who I'm talking to about this, but it's like the skills that are required are just the skills that for you to be able to execute your vision or your idea. Like that's all the skills you need. Like that's the only thing that matters, really.
I agree.
So, And then,
being said that, I think because now I'm studying more music theory, I'm exploring that also. I feel like sometimes it really helps when you know music theory. It really helps to get where you want quicker.
Yeah.
Before, it's beautiful to explore, you know, and it's like nice
if you want some specific.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes it's not as beautiful. You know, you are like going around in circles and circles, and you don't find anything. You know.
Totally. Yeah.
I've spent days just looking for chord progressions, you know, because I want this feeling. I'm fixated on this. I want this feeling in this section of the song, and I'm just fucking going in circles, and it's frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
And when you know music theory, it's like,
yeah.
You know, this is the right chord progression that's gonna take me here.
Yeah. But it's so simple though.
It's simple for you that you know. For me, no. For me, it's complex. It's actually very...
No, but I mean, what I mean is that you don't have to go deep in music theory to just... It's just basically like, going from 1 to 3rd is
it's mathematics, right?
No, honestly, it's just remembering a few kind of relationships, or like when you go from the first, we call it like first... I only know this in Icelandic, like fyrsta sæti, the first, we use Roman letters. So it's like if you are in C major, then C is the first, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what tonality or like what, how do you say that in English too? Damn. What, you know, if you're in D or G or whatever, you just remember like going from 1st to 3rd is a good corporate
for me, I have no idea.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you only have to memorize like a few of these steps that you know are kind of golden, you know.
Is that the circle of fifths? Are you referring to the circle of fifths? Because whoever invented that
circle
of fifths. Whoever invented that, there's a particular hell for you. Waiting
I've
for
never
you.
heard of that.
Like, you don't know what that is?
No, maybe if you explain it.
Oh God, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I've tried. I've tried to understand it, and I still
got it.
I've tried many times. It's just one of these things that just, you know, when you try to learn something and to read something, and your brain, it feels like it just slips.
Yeah, but then it's not being explained well for your brain type.
Maybe,
neurotype.
Or I'm just stupid.
No,
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. But I've tried many times. From different people have tried to explain it to me, and it's just.
Then they're not getting it. They're not getting the right way to explain it to you. You're not stupid.
But yeah. Anyways, I think any path to whatever you feel it's honest and good in music is good.
Yeah.
If it's through a lot of music theory, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Or if that's what you're interested in
or
at the
being
time.
really technical in your instrument, you know, if that's what you want to say to the world, or if you have no idea what you are doing and you're just doing it, like I am, I think everything is valuable and valid, basically.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Tell us about your move to Iceland. Like, what drove that decision, and when was that?
It's been almost 9 years now, and it's starting to get a bit blurry, to be honest.
Yeah, a different lifetime.
Huh?
It's kind of like a different lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I don't even remember. I mean,
how you were feeling at that time.
I'm starting to forget, you know, how I felt. It just feels like home now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying to explain what I felt when I was born.
Yeah,
you know?
it's irrelevant
I don't know.
time.
I was just there.
Yeah. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Also, because when I moved to Iceland, you know, many of us immigrants move here because we don't like the situation in our country.
Yeah.
Maybe it's salary-wise or politics-wise or whatever. For me, I was just hungry to explore. And I knew I was going to move out of my hometown. There's nothing really wrong about my hometown. Well, there's a few things that are wrong with my hometown, but yeah. I moved to Iceland because I was very attracted to this land for some reason. In 2015, I came to visit for a couple of weeks, and then I was like, okay, this is my place.
Yeah.
It was a pull, year,
right? Yeah.
It was calling me, and it felt home, and So the following year, I moved here. I had no idea about the economical situation of the country, of jobs. I had no idea. I just grabbed a flight and came here.
Yeah,
I didn't know anyone here. I did knew someone from my hometown. There's only one person now from my hometown in this country.
One other person than you?
Yeah, before there were two, but this other person was moving back to Spain after a few years here, just the same month that I arrived.
Wow.
So that was the only person that I knew, basically.
Yeah. And which hometown is that? Like, where in Spain are you from?
I'm from South Spain. It's a region called Andalusia, and my hometown is called Jaén.
Okay.
Nothing really remarkable from it. It's
just interesting, like if there are people who know that, area.
Many olive trees and really good olive oil.
Yeah.
Other than that.
Yeah. And do you have family there?
Yes. Yeah. My parents, my brother.
Yeah.
Which I love them. I love them to bits. And obviously some friends from my hometown. But yeah, whenever I go back, it's definitely to spend time with my family and my closest friends. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would probably hang out there a lot if it wasn't for my loved
the people.
ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And how have you experienced being like an immigrant in the music industry, like here in the Icelandic music scene? Like, obviously you don't know how it is not to be, but like, is there anything that stands out? Like,
I think not only in music, but in almost every field, being an immigrant means you have more to prove.
Yeah.
Which makes things harder for you, which is, I think there's a lot of value taken from it also. Yeah. Because when you need to prove more, you put more effort into it. And I guess it's more difficult to relax.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have grown so much since I moved here. Mm-hmm. Partly thanks to being an immigrant,
Yeah.
And also,
you're forced to kind of go through stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it makes you, how you say it, to sympathize with immigrants that when you were in your own country. You see things differently now.
Yeah.
When you are the immigrant yourself, because I used to see racism everywhere in Spain, And now that I'm here, I'm like, wow, I wish all these fucking people, moved to another country, and then they were the ones,
gained that kind of
that are looked upon, but yeah.
It is such a crazy, it's just like, doesn't make any sense that when you are a person and you are in a country and then you just cross a border and then you're an immigrant and you have this shadow, this cloud on you. Yeah. It's like, who decided this freaking weirdness? It's so weird.
And you have less opportunities. You have to work harder for the same opportunities.
Yep.
And it is difficult and beautiful at the same time. Yeah. Because thanks to it, you learn so much.
Yeah.
And obviously you are out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. It teaches you, it somehow makes the relationship with your family, in my case at least, I always had a good relationship with my parents. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's even better since I moved here. It's even closer, and we talk a lot, and it's in Spain, even though everyone thinks people are very affectionate, within the families, it's not normal to like say, I love you, or like give hugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And since I moved here, that has become normal to say, I love you, to give a hug to your parents, and like being really affectionate and missing them. I think when you start to miss them, actually, it's when everything changes. You know? Because when you have them everywhere, in your hometown, it's different. You love them, obviously, but it's a different relationship. It's a different feeling. Yeah. When you actually do not have them, it's when you start to
appreciate. It's just a new kind of appreciation. Yeah. I wanna talk a little bit about the music on your upcoming album. Mm-hmm. Like, can you paint a little picture? Like, how many tracks is it? Like, what kind of, because so Mario writes in a super beautifully chaotic way. So it's like, it takes you on a journey and you don't know what you're going to get next. And, it's not a super structured,
Yeah, no.
So can you talk a little bit about that more?
So Well, the album is 8 tracks in total. And the way I can't understand people who write like 30 songs and then, okay, I will choose 10 from here.
Yeah.
Because for me, I have to decide on which tracks I'm going to put on the album because I work them endlessly. You know, I take a lot of time in each track, a lot of time. So I need to decide which one is going to go in the album.
Like
for
before?
Sure. Huh?
Before you work on them or
I mean, obviously, sometimes you work on a track and you've been working for a while and then you discard it for whatever reason, you know. But I try to not like write 30 full songs. I might work on 30 ideas, you know. But the ones that I like take to the end, let's say, are the ones that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
You know, and then for this album, I knew these 8 tracks are going to be the 8 tracks that I'm going to work on, you know. And the other ideas that are maybe not as good or not as developed in this moment might be for a different album or whatever, you know. But for this album, I need to work on, because I'm going to be working on these tracks for a long time. So I need to be excited about them. They need to make sense to me. And then my process is, as you said, all over the place. Because I know some people work with, maybe they start with a chord progression and then they take it from there, right? Or they hum a melody and they write a whole song around that melody. And for me, it's everything. Sometimes, like one song in the album is a phrase that popped up in my mind coming from a summer house trip here in Iceland, which is the song you sing in.
Yeah.
The
sailor song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song, the first line in the chorus just popped up in my brain somehow, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So just thinking about this line, I created this whole story, and to portray this story, I thought like, okay, what kind of instruments can fit this story?
Yeah.
And then I got the lyre harp.
Yeah.
Because it felt like a sailor-ish song, like from medieval times, or you know. So I was like, okay, this is how I constructed this song. Like first the line, for whatever reason, pops in my mind. Then a whole story. Okay, what kind of instruments fit here? This instrument. Okay, and now we start building a song from a feeling or from a line.
Yeah.
Not even from a chord progression or a melody. Some other times, I come up with a melody because I'm humming. Come up with a melody that I like. I really like this, okay, and I start building everything. Maybe this line is the chorus, and then I write something for the verses, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But the sailor song is pretty structured to me.
I
and
mean, because I built everything around that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I relate to that process a lot. Like it starts somewhere and then you build around it. And sometimes it is just it's a vibe, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just I feel like this.
Yeah.
I feel this emotion, and I need to write something like this. Because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty anxious. So for me, before music started to be a devotion for me, it was a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And
like
it was
the
a necessity
to
take this out of my brain.
Oh my God,
I go to bed and I'm like, if I don't fucking write this song, I will not be able to sleep, simply.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to do shit tomorrow.
Yeah,
many times I'm in bed and I have to stand up and go to the studio and write whatever, because otherwise I just don't sleep.
Yeah. It used to be like that for me when, like earlier. And it used to be more, it just used to be a struggle, kind of. Like, it was so intense, this, like, you know, getting
it's not
it
like
out
that
of
anymore
me.
for me, either.
Not at all for me. It's
actually,
easy
since
now.
this experience I told you about with this artist, now it's different. Like, there's less anxiety about that.
Yeah, more joy. Right?
Yes, more joy, because it makes sense. You know, before it's just like, it's in my brain, I need to take it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's like, it's in my brain. That's
like,
nice. I'll just take it out tomorrow.
What to do with this? Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I didn't realize that. I was like, wow, damn, like the 20-year-old Sinna would be like, what, you can just do that? Like,
you can't just do that.
Or just like, wow, can you actually just do that? That sounds so peaceful. Like, yeah, life is more peaceful now. Yeah. So, but tell us, like, when I came into your studio and I was like singing in your tracks and stuff, like you were showing me some songs, and then you had like many different software instruments, basically. Different software instruments. So I think maybe you call them plugins, just like instruments.
Software.
Software instruments.
Yeah.
So is that are you just going full on with software instruments on the album, or was that just while you were creating?
No, recording? You mean the plugins and all that, right? Like the virtual instruments.
Virtual instruments, yeah.
Yeah. The first album that I released, it's all virtual instruments.
Yeah.
There's not a single, there's even no, as I said, no voice, no real instruments, only like synths, because I really like synth music and synth wave, dungeon synth and all that. But this album is mainly real instruments. We're talking...
Okay.
Yeah, it's all real drums, real guitars, all
the
the
flutes?
instruments, all the flutes, all the, the oud, all the handpans and all that. The only virtual instruments in this album are like synths, because I still like to accompany all my tracks with synth work.
Yeah.
And and some strings also.
Yeah. Okay, so
because
the strings are virtual?
I can't afford that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, are you playing all those, like, all the flutes and the
all the flutes and all the real instruments besides the metal stuff, because I don't play drums. I'm not good at guitar.
Yeah.
By now, I mean, I'm better at oud than guitar because I just don't play guitar. I'm not good at it. And regarding the drums, for example, I'm very excited because I asked one of my favorite drummers in the world, basically, which is Kelly from Agent Fresco.
Yeah.
And I honestly, and one of the songs even I wrote thinking of him. And I was like, dude, if he says no, I'm gonna be devastated because I wrote this song for him. You know, like I was always hearing his drumming.
Yeah.
And like I can't have anyone else
some rando
drumming over this. No, I can't.
So
and I know many drummers.
He said yes.
Yes. And he did an amazing job. And he's just the most beautiful human.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be working with him actually a little bit in January and February in teaching.
Oh,
I just heard that he's like,
with the kids?
Yeah, with the teenagers. Lovely. Yeah.
Nice.
I've never met him.
So. Have you met him before?
No, never met him. But Yara just met him recently, I think. Also.
Lovely human.
Yeah.
He's great. And he's great to work with. He was awesome to work with on the tracks.
Yeah.
I had big expectations for his drumming in the songs, and he just made everything better.
Yeah.
He elevated the songs for sure.
Yeah.
The same goes for the guitar players.
Yeah.
That played on the album, which I had Daniel from Cult of Lilith, my band, and another guy called Simon from another band here also in Iceland that's called Obsidian Eye. Both killer guitarists, and the bass is also real.
Yeah.
From the bass player from Cult of Lilith, who is this dude, like phenomenal bass player.
So like, that's that kind of bass. Like
electric bass.
Yeah.
He's just phenomenal player.
Nice.
He comes up with the sickest bass lines.
Oh, nice. So you allow them like to
I always, whenever I work with someone, I'm like, this is my idea. This is what I wrote. But if I ask you to do something, I want you to do it. You know, I want you to be excited about it.
Add some spice to it.
Yeah, and I don't know, feel like it's your art. You know, like if I ask you for something, I trust you. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask. You know, it's the same with tattoos, for example. I know a lot of tattoo artists, and I know they hate when someone comes with a design like, do this of me.
Yeah.
You know, they like to be like, this is my piece of meat.
Yeah.
Adorn it. You know? That's what they love the most, because they feel freedom. And with my music, I'm like, this is my piece of this track, and I want you to do what I mean. I give them maybe the chord progression, like... Yeah. But I don't like to tell them, do exactly this. You know, if I ask someone for a solo, I'm not going to be like, I want them to express themselves, feel like that part is also something from them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And, okay, so let's talk about business. Okay, so your album is coming out in the summer.
Yeah, sometime in the summer. June, probably.
How are you feeling about, like, what do you want with the album? like, how do you see it happening? Like, are you kind of, do you have already kind of an audience established, like from when you were with, did your audience kind of from the band, have you noticed any, or do you have any awareness of like if they have moved from, is it, okay, I'm trying to make a sentence here.
I know what you mean though.
Yeah, like
I know
have
what you mean.
have they morphed, moved or followed you basically?
Some of them have. Some of them have. And I feel like some others, the ones who get me,
Yeah.
they will follow what I do.
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Maybe because they know me personally, not personally as in,
they know you as
they know
an
me
artist,
person, but they know me as an
artist.
artist.
Yeah.
And I feel like they will follow what I do regardless, because this is how I feel about my favorite artists also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
I feel like, let's say Devin Townsend, for example.
Mm-hmm.
That guy will poop and I will be like, yes,
great.
yes. Obviously, it's an exaggeration, but yeah. Like, I follow that guy not just because of the music he does, it's just everything he is, basically. Yeah. And the same with people that I work with in music, I work with them not only because of their craft, it's for the human they are.
Yeah.
When I work with you, when I work with Yara, when I work with Kelly, with Nicolas, the filmmaker, it's all about what I see in you as a human.
Yeah. And it's just kind of translating into the music.
Yes,
yeah,
obviously the music is sick and what you guys do it's amazing. But what I see in you is the human.
Yeah.
And I know that the people that follow what I do see the human in me.
Yeah.
And they will understand that whatever path I follow in music is the right one because it's the honest one for me.
Yeah. And do you feel like that is like the people that were listening to you when you were in that metal band, like do you feel like that was also kind of how it is, or like some of them are like that and then you have to grow on that? Like,
I know some of them
are like that, yeah.
Some of them might be like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah. So you are kind of gonna have to build again, kind of.
Yes, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you're excited about that?
Because I love death metal.
Yeah.
I still love, and I think I'm 36 now. I've always loved it. That's not going to change, because there's something from metal that you can get from anywhere else, in my opinion.
Totally, yeah.
Maybe it's not, for me, I don't want to listen to metal all the time.
Yeah.
There's so much out there.
Yeah, there's so many, it's just like with people or friends or something, it's like we have space for it all
yes,
in our
exactly,
hearts. We don't have to put all your focus in one thing.
But when I feel like listening to metal, it's like, when you get
the best thing ever.
Like grooviness and that heaviness of,
there's nothing like it.
So people who only listen to metal will not be into this album.
Yeah,
because each track on this album is a completely different thing, completely different genres. And I know that if we're talking about business, it's not the best move business-wise, marketing-wise, to do it sound different. But as I said, music is devotion to me. It's not anymore. I don't feel like it's even my choice anymore.
Yeah, and like we have talked about before, it is pretty, what's the word? It's like not a misconception, but it's like the easy way out in branding and marketing is definitely like niching the fuck out.
Yeah.
Just like niching the fuck down. And that it's like to me or to us, me and Yara, like we both really agree about that it's not, it's like a misconception that like if you're not niching down, you're kind of fucked, It's like, it's going to be explicit, this podcast.
Yes.
But,
sorry, we'll try to.
But it's not like you can just do whatever. Like we have to then find what we are going with that is a constant, in your branding and stuff like that. So if it's not going to be something super like, this is my niche genre, it's like, okay, we will niche it down somewhere else, or like kind of direct the focus, like we've talked about, somewhere other than the genre or the main kind of, I don't know, vibe or, So we will just find that with you.
my feeling is that the prog heads are gonna be into it, because in prog music people are normally more flexible.
Yeah. Yeah.
With prog metal, prog rock, whatever, people are more flexible. Yes, exactly. So they are more flexible.
Yeah.
They are used to an artist, putting out this death metal album, and the next album is like super soft,
and
fucking,
they love it. They
acoustic
love
music.
And they love not knowing what's going to come next.
Yes.
So we have to just work with that. You know?
Yeah, because you understand that human is not a machine producing this kind of feeling. Imagine it like thinking you are supposed to release the same music for 40 years is like asking you to feel the same for 40 years.
Yeah.
If you got famous because you were producing like super sad music, and now there's artists that are like just condemned to play that and to write that kind of music for 40 years, so you are like prolonging this feeling over and over again, and that's not the human experience. The human experience is a huge variety of different feelings and tastes, and
but then there are some people who are more, they write music more in a way where it's like they're producing things, so for those personalities who are just like not as like
attached, I guess,
or not as like just as emotional beings as we are, I guess, or like they're different.
They're able to disattach themselves from what they're creating.
Yes, exactly. They're not like pouring their hearts out as much, I guess.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I know. And but I'm just saying that like that's why we just have to stay true to who we are, because there are people like that who are just like this is just like something I do, whether that's like your job or not, but and now I'm just gonna do Christmas jingles or whatever, and it's just like kind of like it's a task, and then you execute the task, and that's awesome, and then they just like doing the same genre, and it's easy like that, and it's like and that works really well in marketing, but when it's like for you and me, it's more about like that, just you're just I just see visuals. I can't really put this into words, but it's like there's no beginning or end between you or the music you put out, basically, and like yes, we can play with it, how you kind of put it out to the world, like it's like there is always space a little bit like to kind of when it comes to like branding and marketing, but the thing is you never have to give up anything to make that work, but you just have to we have to crack.
You have to work for it with it, I guess.
Yeah, we have to crack the code a little bit about it, but it's like,
Yeah. I don't know, I think whoever is open-minded enough to see that the human experience is about many different feelings, many different cultures, and whoever gets inspired by that, I think they will like what I do.
Exactly, and that is your message. Like that is the message with your music, and like then the only thing that matters is that is clear.
My message as of now, or what I want to give out, is creativity is an unending fountain. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like
it's a limitless, infinite.
Yes,
fountain.
It's an infinite source.
Yeah,
like it never ends.
Yeah,
and everyone can access to it.
Yes.
And this is very important to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel it myself, and everyone will be like, oh, but you've been doing music for 20 years. So it sounds easy to you.
Yeah.
Look, before 3 years ago, and I've been doing music for 20 years now, I had no fucking clue of anything I'm doing today.
Exactly.
Everything I've learned has been in 3 years of, being really obsessed with it and very diligent, very disciplined.
And not being afraid to explore it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not being afraid of, oh no, I can't do this because I don't know how to do it. Well, you fucking learn how to do it.
Yeah. Everybody
just
starts,
get into it.
You start somewhere.
Yeah. Just start. Just do it with fear, but do it.
And shut off the judgments or the pressure.
Exactly.
Just
and
what
people is gonna think of me. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
You just get better.
I know. And it's always like really good as well with that. It's just like, okay, like because we like tend to then go into the future like, oh, if I'm gonna like play this live or release something, it's like right now you're just you're just exploring and playing and being like a kid. you don't have to decide the next step yet.
Yeah.
And that is like so fun to just allow yourself to be a kid and like, oh my God, these sounds and like this instrument or whatever. I don't know like where I'm going, but yeah.
I get really sad when I see, because I've known musicians who have kind of lost that spark.
Yeah.
And professional musicians have been doing this for many, many years, like world tours and all that.
Yeah.
And when they talk about their music, and like
Super
even
serious.
they, not even like it feels like they're feeling like that. It's just they express it like they completely lost the spark of it, and that childish way of exploring things, because it has become a chore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, and there's no purpose in that, you know.
Yeah.
And I always feel really sad, and I'm really careful with my music, and really, really, really careful with this, because I know it can happen to everyone.
Yeah.
Even to me, who I'm always like speaking about, you know, my purpose and like how happy it makes me and blah blah. I'm very aware that it can happen to me also, and I can get like massive burnout.
Yeah.
And disgusted by it. I take care in the sense also that what I said before, I'm a human. I'm not a musician only.
Yeah.
You know, I have many interests. And if I feel like it's coming, because sometimes it does, like, oof, I'm starting to feel a bit burnout. I'm starting to feel like I have to like drag myself to put me in the studio and play or write. Then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna paint now.
Exactly. There's something completely different. Yeah.
And in painting, I found something that is still creative and beautiful, but I don't have any of the pressure of that I have with music. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end, music, obviously, it's my main craft, and it's what I put most of my work, and it's the most that I'm attached to it the most.
Yeah.
I'm not so attached to painting, even if it's still like expressing of my feelings and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm way more attached to music.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and I realized this just like in the maybe last year or something. Just like I finally got like the importance of having like hobbies that are creative. That are just hobbies and just to relax and have fun and just like let out energy that you're not exactly putting into something that is such a big deal to you, you know? So yeah, that's so important.
Painting for me is such a light hobby.
Yeah.
You know, many times I finish a painting, I'm like, wow, this sucks. This is terrible. Who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
Okay, next painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While with music, obviously, I take it more.
Yeah,
you know,
it'd be
I'm more
sadder
attached.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, it sucks. You know?
Does that mean that I suck?
Yeah. Does it mean that my existence is not valid?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, but with painting, it's just like, wow, what a piece of ass.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's actually what you said also, it's easier to feel better about your painting or any other hobbies because there's no...
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
You're
not
just like,
great or amazing by, you know,
yeah,
good painter's standard or whatever, like, to you it's like, this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a super... I think just so many things have turned into just like a child-like experience for me, which I love. It's like the cure to everything for me, honestly. It's like just approach everything with a childlike spirit. Look what I made.
Yes, I think it's also as we grow older, you have more responsibilities, more adult stuff. You also have to take care of that child part and not forget about it.
Otherwise, it's like you just get
and feed into it.
Yeah. You're just like, wait, why am I here again? Just to pay bills and like...
so just to pay
take
taxes.
my car and taxes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been so nice having you. I had so much fun.
Thank you.
To
It's always a pleasure. You know, I always say... And it's a pleasure to talk with you too.
Yeah,
it's always
same.
All the conversations we have are always like, I always take something good out of them.
Yeah, me too. So then I guess the only thing left is just for you to tell us or tell people listening or watching where they can find you and where are you like active, like on social media and stuff.
Yes. So you can find me as Mario Infantes, which is MarioInfantes. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. I'm going to start doing content. I'm going to Morocco now.
Yeah, so exciting.
For a trip. And then I go to Spain to see my family. And when I come back in January, I'm going to start working on content for TikTok because this album is very, very important to me.
Yeah.
And my only goal is that the most people possible see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even like interested in like if people are gonna love it or it's just because there's a message that's more important than the music itself there.
Yeah.
And I want to spread that message with videos or vlogs or even just performance videos.
Mm-hmm.
But I think through all of that, my message is gonna come across. Yeah, I think I'm thinking about doing a lot of content for next year. I'm gonna do a lot of music videos that are already planned out, and then a bunch of content for TikTok, Instagram, and all that. So you will definitely find me on Instagram and TikTok.
And your handles, like that's just Mario Infantes.
Mario.infantes, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And on TikTok is Mario Infantes.
Mario Infantes without the dot.
I think so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything you're doing, and have fun in Morocco.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.